All right, we're live streaming. What's up?
Not much. I didn't get what I wanted to get done, but I did start on it and get progress on it. So um, I don't know. I think I was being a little hard on myself last week. Um, I did some of the website stuff, and then I started thinking about the e-commerce side of it and going, yeah, I don't know if I want to build all that out. So I started looking at Shopify. So I started a trial there, and at first I didn't think that they would do what I would kind of want them to do or need them to do, at least to start. But then I found out they have this kind of like invoice custom order feature, and so I'm looking at potentially using that for the for how I would actually accept payments for things. So I'd have to build a site just to allow them to give me the what they want and then upload their designs or whatever. And then what I would do is once I get a, hey, give me a quote or whatever, give me a, like, I'd like to buy this kind of thing. Then I'd get the email and I'd put together a invoice in this thing for them to pay. So I might even be able to do that in an automated fashion. So
What are the options for e-commerce handling payments? Is it like against the law to store bank card information in your database?
oh, PCI regulations. I don't know if it's against the law. I think it's definitely a regulatory issue. Like you won't be able to process credit cards, but I don't think most people use a payment gateway or a provider now.
Yeah, but
So
that takes out a does that stuff gets expensive, right? Especially if you're trying to like outprice your competitors. Like, for example, Square. Do you know anything about Square and what their fees are? Is it a
yeah,
percentage? Is it
I don't know
a
what
fixed?
their yeah. I haven't looked at Square specifically for the price. I did look at Stripe and Braintree for payment gateways.
Maybe that's what I
Um,
meant. Stripe, Square,
yeah,
Stripe are competing services. I think I meant to say Stripe.
yeah. I think Stripe, or yeah, Square. I think is in there too. Um, Braintree and Stripe are the two that I'm most familiar with. Let me see, because I think it's like 2.9% or something usually.
Yes, it's
Um,
too much, man. Especially
but
if I'm
everyone's gotta do it though. That's the thing. It's not like they have someone's got an advantage where they're able to accept credit cards because somebody's taking a cut of the transaction um, somewhere. So um,
I guess Bitcoin still isn't big enough, popular enough.
yeah,
Because I
well you
mean,
can
like, if I'm adding my point is 3% of a transaction is way too much, especially when I want to have my percentage as well. Like the cost just balloons, right? All right, I'm still
yeah.
listening.
No, I'm just trying to find what their pricing page. Um, well, I can probably find Stripe's pricing page. I think Stripe and Braintree are the same. Although Braintree, I think, gives you free transactions up to a certain dollar amount. At least they used to. Maybe they stopped doing that. Um, oh, here we go. Stripe's pricing is easy to find. Yeah, so there's this 2.9% plus 30 cents for a charge. Um, and that's basically what Shopify does as well. So I think that's kind of a standard fare is that they'll get 2.9% of the transaction or less, usually 2 to 2.9 and then 30 cents as a fixed thing. So
Mm.
so if you're trying to sell 30 cents worth of stuff, you're kind of screwed. They'll take your whole percentage or the whole thing. In fact, you might owe them then. I don't know who sells stuff for 30 cents. But yeah, I mean, that's the name of the game. Everyone's gotta do it though. Somebody's gonna take a cut for offering that service, and I don't think there's a way that you can accept credit cards without incurring charges, because that's part of how the credit card companies make their money. So
Well, you say credit card companies, so I'm just talking about like just Visa, MasterCard
yeah,
for debit. But I see what you're saying.
yeah, I think that they charge you a percentage, the credit card companies themselves. I don't know if that's up and on top of what Stripe charges you, but I don't know. I haven't really actually ever accepted a credit card transaction and seen the bill, so I don't know what that actually looks like.
Okay. I just don't have that much room
Yeah.
for
Well,
profit, especially if someone else is taking 3%.
yeah. Well, if Amazon, if they're doing FBA or whatever, I'm sure that they're going to take a percentage off too if you go that route. But I suppose for your for the app thing that you have going, if you're, I guess, making $5 or something like that, or $10 on a on a call, yeah, they're going to be taking what? It's not too much, 60 cents or something. So
Okay.
yeah, but I guess that's like I said, that's kind of just a necessary thing. I assume if you do your own payment gateway, you could maybe reduce that, but I don't know. Then you have to worry about PCI regulations more than you already have to, anyways. And storing credit card stuff, these gateway providers will handle all that stuff for you, so you don't have to worry about it as much. I mean, you still have to worry about it, but just not as much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, anyways, so I started that Shopify account and did some work on the website. I did also make a couple boxes this week just for the sake of it. I need to get this next week. I need to continue work on that. I think getting the actual payment stuff set up and tried out on Shopify and running an order through that just to see what it's like would be a good thing to do. And then I got to make a manual at some point here, a booklet, just to make sure I got to start that process to make sure I can get that constructed, because I haven't really made one. I've made it in my head a bunch of times, but never actually sat down and printed one out and gone through the process and started to understand what I could go wrong with it. So I think that's probably what I'm going to be doing for trying to get done in the next week. But, so are things with you, with other than sickness? Did you get anything done?
Yeah, I've been brute forcing myself to, like, my minimum is 2 hours daily of work, but I mean, I'm pretty much doing like at least 4 hours.
Sure.
And so I'm upset. I had got my new computer shipped. I'm like, finally, I'm not going to have excuses for development time, because I spend most of my time on the feedback loop of demoing it and observing the UX or the look and feel, and that just takes forever. And so I ordered a 64 gig of RAM laptop, and they shipped me a 32 gig. So I had to ship it back, and I probably won't have my 64 gig probably till like next Friday.
Damn.
Like, I don't know. I just don't understand how you can send me the wrong laptop after I pay $2,000. But
Yeah. That happens all the time, I guess.
all right, so let me share my screen. I swear I have an STI, except I'm not really active. Okay, so you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I didn't implement any of the catalogs, or I didn't implement any of these restaurants yet
Mm-hmm.
down here, but nor did I implement search. But you select the item, your shopping cart gets updated. I think when I eventually I'm going to, if you have any items in your shopping cart, it's going to go from maybe black to like orange or something. You add some more items, Tostitos, some oranges, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm afraid that they won't realize that this shopping cart thing is interactive. So you tap on that and it brings you to your your checkout, right? And then you have an opportunity to remove anything that you don't want. Like maybe I want to remove the Sprite. So that
Mm-hmm.
updates here, shopping cart updates down here. Um, I'm not sure if this price just updated or not. Let's say I want to get rid of the oranges too. Okay, yeah, so the price up here updates. So
Mm-hmm.
then I hit confirm, and from there, that's where I want to. It's not implemented right now, but when they hit the confirm order, then I wanted to transition into the delivery request of the user experience, where it provides the default location of where you're at on the beach. Else, maybe you just like Lyft or Uber, you can set a flag down on where you plan to be when it gets delivered, and then it has the price structure broken down from the the food that you ordered, and then the destination that you ordered, and it breaks all that down into details for the price or the total fee, and then you accept or cancel, and then it shows the tracking of the deliverer going to whatever store or restaurant all the way to them being tracked via GPS at the specified destination. So I'm happy with my progress, given that I'm sick as a dog. Next week, I would like to have this search bar implemented. I would like to have, if I click on more snacks, oh yeah, I also implemented the various categories. So you have more drinks, you have more snacks. All this stuff needs to be updated to reflect the category, right? So this all fruits, chips, cookies, that's relevant for someone that wants to browse all the snacks. But I need to have something similar if they want to browse all the drinks, which this isn't really reflecting.
Sure.
Um, and la 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 la. That's uh, that's pretty much it.
What happens if you add like same thing twice? Oh yeah, no, I see it down there. And then
Yeah,
if you add too many, like, what does it overflow?
yeah, it overflows.
Okay.
So what I would like to do is when you have multiple items, then it has a integer multiplied by, and then the icon of the item or image of the
Mhm.
item. So down here it would be like 2x in the Tropicana orange juice, 3x Tostitos. So I think that's going to be my plan. In regards to this filling up with items, but it can't really be contained, then I
Mhm.
think the last, hold up, this is one, two, three, four, five, six. Maybe on the sixth item, this will actually be a silhouette of I don't know, beverage and snack, kind of like a silhouette that's kind of abstract. And then if they want to, and it'll show up like right on the edge. And if they want to examine their order, then they click on the shopping cart and it shows the complete list. So that's the thought process.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So the part that this probably is going to take a while, but the delivery request that I want to integrate is, I hope this doesn't take too long on my emulator. It's already been written out for the most part, except for the implementation details of the GPS mapping. But if I could quickly demo that, thankfully I wrote this like 3 months ago without even thinking about this e-commerce thing. I was just doing a long running code of what it would feel like to build something analogous to like Uber or Lyft. Let me see. We need to get you on F#.
Yeah, I've been meaning to learn it. I think I've popped open a project or solution a couple times and haven't got really too far into it.
And
I write a lot of C# in a functional manner, so it gets rough, as you can imagine.
Yeah. Maybe in another 30 seconds, the simulator will launch this.
Yeah. Is it memory bound then right now?
Is it memory bound? What are you talking about? The performance of
if you look at your task manager when it's trying to start up, is it a memory hog and it's just capping out, or?
The short answer is, hold up, let me go over here. Like, I wouldn't think that would be a serious issue for, like, this QVM is the emulator thing. I wouldn't think that would be a serious issue for a 16 gig of RAM laptop, but apparently it is. But I mean, I'm not well versed in like computer engineering and like memory and all that stuff. But we see that CPU is at 92% somehow.
Yeah, you look CPU bound more than memory bound for your. Yeah.
Which I don't really understand, because this is well, I guess regardless of this being multi-core, if they're only relying on one processor, then I don't know.
Yeah. What's your new machine gonna have for a processor?
I thought it was 6-core. I'm not
Is
sure.
it i7?
Yeah, i7.
Okay.
And this probably is going to take too long, but eventually, if this does load, then I'll let you know.
Sure.
Stop share. So, oh no, as soon as I stop sharing, here it is. So hold on for 1 second. Well, just because it's white doesn't mean it's going to load anytime soon. Anyways, so like I'm pretty content with my progress, especially with me like being dog sick. Next week, yeah, search, filtering, enhance the user experience, and connect it to the delivery aspect of the user workflow that involves maps and GPS services.
Cool.
Yeah. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Any movement on the Amazon side? That leg of your plan?
Hold it for 1 minute. It finally loaded.
Oh,
so
sure.
So eventually, when they confirm their order, then load up something like similar to let me close this out. Load up something similar to this, and they pick like, I don't know, eighth and ocean, and then, well, this origin address is pointless. It's really this destination part, but I have to fill it out regardless. So say like 8th and Ocean, like that. Then you hit price. Oh God, it's freaking glad you don't do mobile development. Then it'll transition to this over here. Then you say pay with, and I say MasterCard, and then say request ride, and that'll look for drivers. Then it'll claim that it found a driver that's pushing a Lamborghini. Estimated time of arrival down here, call message. And so like I plan on wiring this up and like adapting it to the app. And then, supposedly it gets delivered, charged, details. And that's pretty much it. So
Gotcha. Oh man, I tell you.
So that's it for right now. All this is just straight client mobile. There's no back end to it yet. That'll be probably next month. Well, yeah. So
yeah, next month's in 2 days. So whatever.
Well, I want to be able to refine the UX without being a UX designer the best I can. And then I think you alluded that I don't really need that much of a back end to, receive a text message or a notification without having to do the whole tracking part. All I just need is, their GPS coordinate, but I don't really have to map all the other stuff out. I'm still trying to figure things out, but based on the current rate that I'm going, I know that I probably won't have a good chunk of the back end done where it's noticeable progress, probably for at least 4 weeks, just based on the current rate of progress. Or maybe that's just because I spend most of my time waiting for the emulator to display something, and that feedback loop is completely different from the back end development. I don't know. I'm lightweight pessimistic, so in your words, not giving myself enough credit.
Yeah.
In regards to productivity.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you could probably go pretty low, a lot lower tech on it, and just get the food stuff in there and get the ability to accept payments on it.
Oh yeah, and I left out the restaurants part. I have to implement that.
Yeah.
So I'll probably start off with like just those 3: the Denny's, Burger Shakes, and whatever else I had. But that's not that'll be the week after where I implement all that, because that's kind of a different workflow.
Yeah. And then I mean, literally, and once you get that minimal stuff up, you really just need to see if you can get customers. Because I mean, sharpening your style is one thing or whatnot, and working on code for the sake of it is one thing. Like you said, to just keep your skills up, but you might be spending months building something that's not useful at all to you. You know what I mean? Or not really gonna take off. Yeah. So it'd be good if you could get out and get that validation piece. Once you get minimal MVP or whatever, go out there and just get the validation piece and see if you can get anyone to use the thing.
Yes. So here's what's interesting is I was at the grocery store yesterday, and Instacart provides a service where they'll basically do your groceries and then have it waiting for you at the grocery store. So not only do they provide an option for picking up your groceries and delivering it to you, but they'll pick up your groceries and have it waiting curbside at whatever grocery store that you designate. And so I'm thinking, I'm sure there's a fee to that, but I'm thinking maybe I could just, for the sake of time, instead of doing this stuff myself, especially if Publix is the closest grocery store to based on my location relative to where it's being delivered, to leverage that service. Else, for mom and pop's grocery store, I tend to shop at an Indian grocery store because it's really close to me. Maybe toss them like prepaid $500 and then send them a text or a notification if I build out an app for that part, saying, hey, this is the order that I need packed, deduct it from the money that I already gave you, and have it ready for me to pick up. So those are the two options. I think Instacart is probably better right now, just because they already have a business of doing that and people designated as shoppers to do that. The biggest part is just driving down costs. Right now it's not that serious because you just want to see. I just want to see if the model works of people downloading the app, making an order. But after like a month of people demonstrating that that app is useful, I got to reduce costs, man. So I guess I could still defer that for another time.
Yeah, I guess it's the prove the idea works and then find out how to scale it and make it profitable approach, which is kind of espoused by these things. So yeah, I think that's probably a pretty good approach or whatever. Just have that ready, and all you have to do is the delivery bit of it.
And I guess it's kind of out of scope, but if this proof of concept actually like pans out, then the stretch goal is to have an app that serves as a gig search engine that provides the same business model of request and delivery using maps, so that that beach delivery app is just one of the apps. But there might be another one for landscaping, for snow plowing, for someone's driveway, for laundry cleaners, and perhaps take the infrastructure that's already being built and push into an app where people can basically search for a service that has the same type of pattern, and then see a list of people that provide that service, and then go ahead and execute a transaction. That's ultimately, like, that's out of scope right now, but I don't think there's anything out there like that. And I would like to eventually, if everything goes well, adapt what I'm currently doing, all the infrastructure that I'm writing, to an app where there's a one place to go and request something. It's kind of like a directory that they can search for. Is there anything out there like that right now, or is everything pretty much siloed to individual apps and not necessarily a directory that you pick, choose, and then you go through the whole workflow of getting that fulfilled?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. There might be. I haven't really done a look-see yet.
Yeah.
If there is, it'd be good for you to check out to see if there is one, and know your competitor anyways and what they're doing. But I'm not aware of it. So
how's your floppy going?
my floppy disks.
Yeah.
I haven't done much with those. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I really should look for them on Alibaba or something, but like I said, I don't know. I can't really find them. So
You think this mastermind thing is delivering on the intent of what we wanted?
um Well, I'll let you answer that question first. No.
Last week, I when we were messaging, I said this reminds me of government shutdown, where you're forced to make decisions and demo progress, regardless of how little it is. It keeps pressure on me when I publicly make a declaration, not just to you, but I live stream it for the whopping 2 people that watch the videos.
Hi, two
Uh,
people.
yeah, I feel like it pressures me into doing something versus just talking about it. So like last week when we had like, who you plan on delivering or getting done by next Friday's session, like in the back of my mind, I'm like, that kind of like gave me anxiety and it kind of forced me to like, regardless of me being sick, to just crank out and just push through, whatever like imaginary wall that I have that I want to use as an excuse for not delivering what I said I wanted to deliver on. So for me, I find value in it because I feel like I have more pressure to make progress regardless of if things work out at the end. And I'd rather try than just be like most people and do nothing and then complain about my lifestyle and then later complain about my coulda wouldas as I continue to age.
Yeah, yeah. That's essentially my take on it too. I mean, I didn't get done what I said I was going to get done, but the thing is, it did put pressure on me this week to think about it and act on it. And I did some coding around things, and then um, seeing that how much work is ahead of me and time frame. I don't know if I would have independently thought to, hey, I'm going to go look at Shopify or try to find an answer to this, a third party answer to one problem I have. So I think having the constraints definitely is it maybe is breeding a little more creativity on that front. Whether or not I actually got anything or not, I mean, I got stuff accomplished, but I said whether or not I got the thing I said I was going to do done is a different story. But yeah, I know what the anxiety piece of it, and just hey, I've got to work on something, or I'm not going to have anything to talk about on Friday.
Yeah.
and then Scott's gonna whoop my ass and say, hey, this is over. I'll find a better mastermind person.
Honestly, I've done that already. So I was a mentor on the F Sharp mentoring program.
Mm-hmm.
I was mentoring this dude in New York City, and yeah, it's like one day he was like, "Hey Scott, I need to cancel for today because I'm really overwhelmed with work right now. I have some things I need to get done. Sorry." And I'm like, "All right, no worries. Next week." And then next week came, he sent me another message. "Hey Scott, I'm really busy right now. I'm really sorry. I don't want this to be a pattern, but I'm not going to be able to do it." And that pretty much already let me know that regardless of reality, that he's not willing to prioritize our sessions, which may be valid based on his priorities, but I just disconnected. So
Yeah.
he doesn't reach out anymore, nor do I go out my way to remind him. So that's how
Yeah.
quickly things can go if we don't treat this as a priority. It's everybody wants to lose weight, but they're not willing to demonstrate how bad they want to lose weight. And I feel like this is the same thing. Like you got to demonstrate it, and yeah, you could really be looking forward to it and think that this is so awesome in the early stages. But man, if you're not willing to commit to a marathon of start to finish, regardless of if you fail, at least you have a reason that you failed, and it's not because you got bored or you tapped out. You literally hit a barrier that you couldn't pass, and it's documented, right? Right. I think most people aren't built for this, man. It's not arrogance; it's the truth. Majority of people will be gun ho in the early stages and then they'll conveniently find a reason not to continue. And
Yeah.
they're going to continue being in the state that they've been in. And I'm not trying to dog old boy. I'm just saying the truth because I've been surrounded by it for a lot. And I just don't want to be like that. I just want to keep progressing until I can tell people why I failed versus just being a quitter. So
Yeah. You talked earlier about the woulda couldas kind of thing, and that's mostly the reason why I've got to at least try to launch this. Is that I started on it last year, and I had some of that family stuff go down, and I let it go, and it's like I've got to try it to know, because it could have been that this will work out and everything would be great, but if I never tried it, I wouldn't know. So, but yeah, and keeping that motivation. This is part of it. Having a commitment, or a social commitment, or a constraint, or whatever. So yeah, I think it's valuable for sure.
yeah.
To answer your original question. Although I didn't want to wake up today at 6:30.
Dude, I had just woke up like 15 minutes prior, and I'm like, I had to hurry up, jump in the shower, messaged you to see if, I still wanted to do it, but I literally woke up 15 minutes prior to the scheduled 7:30.
Yeah. Well, that was the same for me, but it was at 6:30 here. So, and I'm feeling pretty awful. So, not flu-like sick. Awful in a different way. So,
you still think that it's not necessary to have like a Trello board or anything, that the way that we're currently operating is fine without planting any artifacts that's traceable or tangible?
it might be good. My historical, pattern with any of these like to-do lists and stuff like that is I get the idea that I'm going to use them. I go out and start them, and then I promptly just, stop using them because it's just, I don't necessarily need a board to remind me what I'm supposed to do. My mind's nagging me enough about that. But if it would helpful for you, we could do that. I'm not against it. Yeah.
It's not a huge priority. I just find myself getting sidetracked with the details. Just like in everyday work, you have the tasks that you really want to complete for that day, but then those tasks have subtasks that completely deviate from the main goal of what you intended to get done, and you just get sidetracked. But it's not serious to me right now, but sometimes I like to document the things that are taking up my time that I need to remember. But yeah, it doesn't matter right now.
Sure.
The devil is in the details, and the last 20% takes 80% of the time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So
just to recap, anyways.
Why didn't you tell me I had crud on my thing?
Oh. Yeah, I guess I wasn't sitting there looking at your lips being like, oh yeah. Yes.
Think about having a beard, man. It's more maintenance. You get stuff in it.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess, yeah. Yeah, worst is when you're eating like a sandwich or something and you get mayo in it or whatever, and it's like, whoa.
Amongst other things.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah. So I'm gonna try to get that Shopify order thing set up and through, and try pushing through a just a demo order or something like that, just to make sure that I can do the process from A to Z, or run through it and discover whether it's actually going to fulfill what I want it to do, at least to get started.
I think Amazon they have some feature called custom. I didn't dig into it. I was surfing it yesterday. For a fact, it's called custom, and I'm not sure if that maybe be beneficial for you. It seems like people for your product, they're not going to be just casually browsing a store. They know what they want already. Like they came to it based on them already knowing about your product or your service. So maybe it doesn't matter if it's on Amazon or not.
Register custom features apply to your professional seller account.
I didn't dig too much into it, but I just noticed it last night.
Yeah, I might look at this at some point. You know, Etsy's another thing I could go with and try that, using that as the payment deal. But yeah, so I want to get Shopify set up and go through, because there's like a 14-day, 15-day trial or whatever. So I'm in that right now. I've got to actually try pushing stuff through it and make sure it does what I need it to do before it would start charging me. And then I need to make a booklet. So that should be something I can tangibly pick up and show you then. In addition to the boxes I keep making, I need to figure out this isn't for necessarily for next week, but I got to figure out a better way to glue things. I messed up something bad this week.
Hold up. Isn't the booklet nothing but an instruction manual for that particular game?
Yeah. I got to actually physically produce one though. There's some stuff on it, because it's got to be, you print it off, you have to put it in the correct order and crop it correctly and fold it correctly and bind it correctly. So like, just to make it sure that it all works correctly.
I would just take 20 to 30 pages in the form of a booklet, do the front cover, and then have lorem ipsum for everything else.
Yeah. That's effectively what I need to do. I might even just look at there's I can find scans of old manuals for old games, like I've been doing with the boxes, and just make a reproduction of one. Okay. That's another option for me. Ideally there's binders or there's like printers that will make booklets for you, and hopefully in the future I can look at that. But yeah, those two things are what I want to get done. I also think I might order some stickers for this. I'm thinking about what I need to do from if I do sell stuff with the branding side of it, and you can get stickers from Sticker Mule for pretty cheap. So relatively cheap anyways. Although maybe not. I don't know. They're kind of expensive, maybe $1 a piece or something. I don't know. Anyways.
Alibaba.
Yeah. And then wait for 3 months and it'll get hung up in customs or something.
Well, you have time to wait, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I might not be able to actually launch by the time that I wanted to. Although if I can get a basic process in place and say, here it is, I really should just start trying to get people to go on it, and not really have a big launch or anything like that. Just do a cold launch and say, hey, I'm open for business, and then try to actually go drum some up, and work with those first few people to make sure I'm not producing crap or something outside their expectations before I put any more money into it. But
yeah.
Anyways.
Well, good stuff. I'm glad that we had this session. I look forward to the next one. I feel good that I'm making progress. It helps out with my self-esteem. I feel a lot of jobs that I quit because I don't have any work to do, and I feel horrible for just sitting in a chair doing nothing. Right? I
Mhm.
mentioned that because like I feel like I'm making progress, and it's one step after another. So like I hit a plateau, but I'm feeling good about this. So that's
Good.
it.
Cool.
Adios. Enjoy your weekend.
Yeah, you
And
too. Get better.
yeah. All right. I'm here to stop broadcast.